to another MaizePlus video. It's been a while, but we've had an update to MaizePlus, and I thought I'd run through what each of the bits of the update means, because some of them are maybe not so clear to people. So I'm going to run through the changelog and hopefully give you a little bit of information. So the first one is more future looking. So if you are playing on a TerraLife map, TerraLife maps are not currently available, but in the future they will be, and you can't have MaizePlus active along with TerraLife. So now MaizePlus would automatically be deactivated, which is a pretty cool feature. You know, it just saves people getting confused or, you know, setting things up wrong. The next one is an awesome change in my view. A lot of people may be familiar with MaizePlus, where if you have silage in a clamp and you go in with a bucket and you come out and it dumps a load on the outside, that's because of the leveler function that's built into buckets and things in FS22, and the fact that you can't tip silage back into the silage clamp with MaizePlus. That's intended. So what they've done is now the leveler function still works, but if you're in a clamp with silage in it, the leveler function will be disabled. So I've got just grass in front of me, and you can see here that the leveler function is working. So it's working just as we would expect, which is good, because that means you can still use buckets and silage rakes and whatever to still level and compact your silage. But if we go into here, I have some freshly fermented grass silage, and we now shouldn't get the problem where when you fill up the bucket or fork or whatever, that it overfills and then dumps as it comes out. So we grab some grass silage and back out. There we go. That is seriously a good change. You know, the other option you had to do was pick an implement that didn't have the leveler function. I think there were mods where you could go in and turn it off, but now it's done automatically. So if there is silage present in the clamp, no leveling, because you don't need it to level, and that means you don't get the horrible spillage on the outside. If it's not silage, you still get leveling. Very clever. So next one, I'm not going to demonstrate, I'm just going to explain it to you. There was a bug with the mixer wagon where if you had a mix that failed and then you tried to empty it, but you had something like water in there, it would empty infinitely because it couldn't tip water to the ground. So it would get stuck essentially. So that's been fixed now, and that shouldn't happen. The next change is another awesome one. So I'm going to go jump into a mower, because it's two stages of this change, one that I wasn't aware of. So the first one is they've changed the wording in the F1 menu. So you now have conditioner switch on, so we press Z, conditioner switch off, we press Z, rather than sometimes the wording on the previous one was a little bit confusing maybe. And more importantly, the game will now save the conditioner state. So I think that's really cool. It's one that I've so often fallen for. You know, you save the game, jump out, come back in, and you've got to reset your conditioners. So that's very cool. One that really probably won't have much of an effect, more of a background thing. If there are bunker silo recipes in MaizePlus that are not supported by existing fill types, then they will just be ignored. So you won't get errors and warnings and stuff. Really one that probably doesn't affect most people. And the next one is also one that doesn't really affect most people. So they've added the possibility to add converters for productions. What does that mean? So when pumps and hoses came out, you could only put whole crop silage into the bunker, and the scripting guys in MaizePlus wrote a script so that you can change that, convert it, so that you could put in grass silage or maize silage. And what they've done now is they've turned that into something that can be added to easily in the XML. So I'll put the snippet on the screen. It's in MaizePlus add to production and selling station.xml. 99.9% of you do not need to care. It's more about future proofing, and you know, if DLCs or mods come out where MaizePlus needs to adapt to work with them, this can now just be done through XML rather than coding. So again, another really clever change. The last one is one that I actually guilty of not noticing when I did my quick look at the Oxbow DLC. And you're not really going to see much here. I'm just going to do a quick demo because I think this is a really cool merger or windrower. And that is that some of the motion paths, so some of the animations of the windrower have been fixed. So you just run along the field and yeah, it looks good. You know, you've got the nice dark green texture of wet or fresh grass here. And then on the other side I've got some conditioned grass. So there we go. So that is the current update to MaizePlus. Some questions that have been cropping up. If you are using Enhanced Animal System and you've updated the animal feeding XML, then if you're using Animal Food Additions, you can actually just leave it because Animal Food Additions will overwrite that. So you don't need to redo the update in MaizePlus. If you're just using MaizePlus and you're using Enhanced Animal System, then you will need to recopy in that XML file. And that's it. So nice update to MaizePlus, some real good quality of life features in there. So yeah, thank you to the team for doing the update. It's very cool. I'm just the guy sat at the front, so lots of hard work in the background. And if you like MaizePlus, then and you haven't already, go in, rate it 5 stars in ModHub. And yeah, any comments, questions, or suggestions, stick them below. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button. And I will see you next time.